An incoming African President Ramaphosa is in the country for a 3-day visit. To bring you details. Also in the bulletin, more than 346,120 people are living with HIV in the country. That represents 2% of the population, in an alarming situation. In Business Association of Ghana Industries cautions Ghana's industrialization agenda remains flawed if a free market regime is granted to importers to bring in cheaper goods. On the foreign front, Gambians are casting their ballots to elect their next president in a highly anticipated vote seen as a test of the country's democratic transition. We have the details of these stories plus sports and entertainment coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. You're welcome to the program. Our first story this afternoon. South African President Ramaphosa is in the country for a 3-day state visit. The visit is expected to culminate in an inaugural session of the Binational Commission. Bilateral relations between Ghana and South Africa has grown over the years. Underlining these strong relations is the elevation of structured bilateral relations from Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation to Binational Commission to be chaired by the head of state. The South African leader is embarking on a week-long 4-nation visit to the West African sub-region. He has already visited Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, and is expected to visit Senegal after Ghana. Now, the Health Minister, Kwame announced the mandatory COVID-19 vaccination for public sector workers, health service workers, security personnel, and commercial drivers.
And the authority that has been bestowed on us by the Public Health Act and its emergencies clauses, we are declaring the following persons to be vaccinated before early January. The specific date will be announced later. All health workers, all security personnel, all staff and students in secondary and tertiary institutions aged 15 and above, all workers in all government institutions, including parastatals, and all commercial drivers. When I say commercial drivers, not only the long buses, long-haul drivers, including Trotro and Uber, and all types of people who drive people around to collect monies from them, including Okada. We will have a way of inspecting certificates before we allow you to do your trade. We are giving ourselves December. That is why we are scaling up our advocacy for vaccinations. We have distributed vaccines across the country. Every district health management team has got a refrigerator, storage for vaccines. We have teams across everywhere in this country, such that you can't come and tell us that we don't have vaccines, so your mandate will not work. We have the vaccines and want to make sure that our mandates will work.
Well, let's have a conversation on the back of this, and joining us on phone is the head of communications for the Ghana Private Rail Transport Union, Abbas Moro. He joins us on phone for a conversation on this. Now, the Omicron COVID-19 variant is the subject of concern now, and Ghana is moving into the mandatory vaccination regime as this month has been declared as a vaccination month. Abbas, if you can hear me, from January, commercial drivers and their mates will be required to show proof of vaccination to be able to ply their trade. How are you preparing your members for their mandatory vaccination?
Yeah, good afternoon. I think the method they want to use will not yield any dividend. I'm saying this because, you know, with the vaccine, Astra V is with a problem. Some countries rejected it with reasons that if you inject, you have aftermath problems. And I believe our health authorities should rather convince everybody if something has changed. If really, when we take that injection, nothing will happen to you. But instead, coming up with restrictions that effective from this date, if you haven't got the vaccine injected, you won't work. I don't think that is a very good approach. In any case, I once had this discussion with about 3 doctors at one of the programs with Joy, at the Joy news programs, and there was a follow-up by one of the doctors called Dr. Da Costa. That day, I quite remember Dr. Da Costa, one Dr. Boaje, the other doctor should forgive me, I've forgotten his name. So later, Dr. Da Costa made a follow-up and accepted that, yes, they have to be visiting the state. And I told them that, yes, if they are able to convince our people very good, then they have to visit us at our stations, of which it will attract many people to take the vaccine. So Dr. Da Costa made a follow-up, and I promised to give him some stations whereby he could contact them for further education on it on Monday. So this is all that I'll say. But if they don't change the procedure to convince people to accept the vaccine and go ahead saying that if you don't take the vaccine up to this day you won't work, I don't think that will help all of us.
Right, so you have 2 main concerns now, the approach as well as some doubt you have over some COVID-19 vaccines. But in fairness to the Health Service and the Ministry of Health, they have explicitly explained, the side effects of the vaccines. It has been guaranteed that they are 100% safe to be received.
Well, I had privilege to take the Johnson & Johnson because I'm convinced that is good for me. So I believe the Astra V, if they believe it is good for us, they should come up and campaign, lecture us more, make sure they preach us more on that so that many people will accept it.
Yeah, but there are other types of the vaccine in the country. There's Moderna. There are other types of the vaccine. Why, don't you think your members will be willing to receive the other jabs?
Well, I'm saying most people are not willing to take the jab because of what they heard about some of the vaccines. That is all. Not that the others doesn't want. I happen to take Johnson & Johnson. Some of my colleagues are also taking some of the jabs as well. But I believe many people doesn't want to because of 1 or 2 things they heard about the vaccines. Hence, my suggestion that they should make sure they preach us more on it. Else, I mean, why not? If because of what people heard, everybody will want to take the vaccine.
So with the concerns that your members are raising, how are you sort of collaborating with the health service to dispel the doubts they have?
I'm more than prepared to collaborate. After my suggestion, that Da Costa has made a follow-up, and I promise him to call me back on Monday so that we'll continue from there. We are more prepared to make sure, because we are at risk to contract this disease because of the type of job we do. We meet a lot of people, or if we have the possibility of else also giving it out to people is also there. So why not? We have to talk to one another to make sure we have to protect ourselves and protect others as well.
Well, let me ask you this. The festive season is upon us again. Are we making any special training arrangements, education for your members on how to, drive safely in Christmas and the New Year?
Come again.
What I'm asking is, we're in the festive season already. What measures are you putting in place to reduce the road carnage as we often record during the festive seasons, as we're heading into Christmas and the New Year will soon be upon us?
At least 2 safety reminders in a year, twice in a year. But for the sake of we are not in normal times this year, we'll not be able to take them through any exercise. But as we keep doing, anytime we have the privilege, we will speak about it, that we don't believe December is a devilishment. It is about carefulness and apply the rules of driving. What is the rules of driving? You observe road signs and make sure you abide by them. Make sure your vehicle goes through regular checks and make sure right things are being done. We keep reminding them anytime we have privilege on all these things. So we believe if drivers are to listen as they used to do, we'll have a very fruitful Xmas and less accident. Accident, you can't prevent it, and we can reduce it, but you can never say you're in a position to make sure accident will not occur. Even a human being walking, you attach it your leg against toes. But if we are careful, we can control and reduce accidents. So we are still reminding them we should be very observant, make sure we apply all the driving rules, of course, which is observing the road signs and abiding by them.
Okay. Abbas Moro, thank you so much for speaking with us on Mayday Live. We'll be speaking with the head of communications of the Ghana Private Rail Transport Union, Abbas Moro, there. Let's do some other stories where former majority leader in the Third Republic from 1979 to 1981, Togbi Sisi Fiti, has bemoaned the conduct of members of parliament following the rejection and subsequent approval of the 2022 budget statement. According to him, there's the need for broader consultation from government.
If the opposition is rejecting your budget, it's creating a problem. They use No, we don't do things like that.
How important is the need for consensus building or broader consultation between the sides of the House?
The government members are thinking that or government. It doesn't matter. Your colleagues in the opposition were also elected by people like your constituencies. You say, Ubu, your enemy. If you respect your enemy, all his close, he's gone. So, unless our members of parliament respect each other, when you dragging things with them, thinking as if you are fighting with them, they are going to give you troubles.
Do you think leadership of parliament have been too political?
Yes, they have been too political. Team. Nobody can play politics in parliament.
With all of what has happened in the past days, what do you make of the conduct of our members of parliament?
They are making people not to. They say you are a member of parliament, they don't care. Now nobody cares. They themselves are underselling themselves. That's the same I would turn the mara no the other top. The way you cook your food, that's the way you eat it. Our leaders have to show the way they want the country to be built.
In the face of all of this, what do you think is likely to happen?
Now, it has got to a very sticky point. They have to buy the opposition out. Ghana's kind of or chiche man crofune position for no be or no according to vote back.
You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby, and let's go for a quick break. When we come back, the bulletin continues. Don't go away.
Environment, state-of-the-art teaching and learning materials, dedicated teachers, small class sizes, and world-class facilities define the excellence at Start Right Montessori and Christian College.
It's a very nice school and I really love it.
The Montessori Primary, Junior High School and Senior High School levels offers a world-class educational experience.
Looking to choose a school for your ward? Choose right. Choose soft skills. Choose Start Right.
We also run international programs such as the Cambridge O and A levels. We have boarding facilities as well with spacious dormitories. Locate Start Right Montessori and Christian College on the Start Right Lane off Finey Road, New Botiano. Call us on 0244 098881 or 0244 522 350 or visit our website at www.scc.edu.gh.
I invite you to bring your ward to Start Right Montessori School and Start Right Christian College.
Start Right Montessori and Christian College, the best world-class education experience in Ghana.
Welcome to My African Love. My name is Chris Atto. Here on the show, we're responsible for helping celebrities all over the world find love. Our influencer, celebrity, actress, and model, Afia Odo, is looking for love right here in the USA.
How about I get different guys from Africa and experiments? Sorry.
Calvin Jones Production. My African love. Say I get the vision to find my African love. Yeah. Come drop my shit up. If you out, I thought you one for the picture. African love. She could be my African love.
Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone papa fie anyhow. Franco say wetie musu friend. Mo amo pre TVs eye papa. TV eye smart. TV eye 4K. Esanso ye Android. Wakwa fa bia prem. Say wo pe 32 inches TV. Anasa 40 and 43. You go kese pa eye 55 inches. Eye Android and esanso ye 4K. Umpe we na dia na umpe. Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone papa any TV papa fie anyhow.
Printers, pen drives, memory cards, hard drive, earpiece, chargers, phone cards.
This week on Mentor X, it's week 9 already. We're inching closer to discovering who will emerge winner of the incredible 10th season of TV3 Mentor. This Sunday, the remaining 9 contestants will be bringing you music of Ghanaian origin to entertain you and book their place in the next round. And of course, 2 contestants who fail to meet the grade will face the gruesome hands of elimination. Join us again this Sunday at 8 p.m. on TV3 as the journey to discovering the next global icon continues on Mentor X. TV3 Mentor takes you higher.
Mentor X is brought to you by Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil and Napa Foods, Sense Body Spray, Club, Better Malt, Tom Vita, Close Up, Geisha, Drugnet,
Cowbell, our milk.
What's your take on an ideal guy?
I'm attracted to sapiosexuals.
Oh, sapiosexuals? Cool.
The smart guys.
See, I am one.
What's your take for the constitutional review?
See, they are really disturbing. They are boring. Review. Constitutional review. The call for a constitutional review is not a bad call.
Really?
At all. Especially in the light of the fact that some laws have outlived their usefulness.
It was just gentlemen. I think Afena-Jan.
Afena-Jan? Who doesn't know Afena-Jan? Excellent footballer. Dangerous. Tactical.
There's this show on TV. It's a music show. Mentor.
I like Mentor. See, my family watches Mentor. Everybody. Hey, see, everywhere Mentor.
Where edition?
Eh?
Where edition?
Mentor's gonna take you higher.
Don't be clueless. Stay on top of issues with 3news.com and tune in to Media General's radio platforms on the go using 3news.com.
You're welcome back to the program. Let's bring you more stories. And health workers and patients at Kojo Health Center in the Gawes municipality will no longer compete with bats. This follows the rehabilitation of the community's health center by the 2020 NDC parliamentary candidate.
The Kojo Health Center serves more than 4 communities. Health workers endure tough times attending to patients because the health facility provided by the Municipal Assembly about 7 years ago was heavily infested with bats, producing strong unpleasant stench. The situation forced the health workers to sometimes abandon the facility. However, an intervention by the 2020 NDC parliamentary candidate for Amasaman, Sedem Apenyo, users of the facility can now heave a sigh of relief.
I know if it wasn't because of this renovation, I'm sure by now this facility would have been closed down, because the nurses were agitating. They told me if this is not done, they will stop working here, because I don't think any meaningful Ghanaian will want to work under this condition. Infestation of bats is not an easy thing. Even with this renovation, we can smell the bats here. They are droppings. We can still smell it here. Imagine the droppings were still in there. It gets to a point where we have to put politics aside. We have to be citizens. Those who have the financial muscle to support communities. Let's do it.
Head of the Kojo Health Center is confident of administering improved care to patients.
And we are hoping that at least by January, the place is set so that we can run the 24-hour services to the community people.
One problem has been addressed, but health workers will require assistance to renovate a bungalow which has been invaded by bats. Residents also have concerns with their road network. Here, component of a steel bridge linking Amasaman and Kojo community has dislodged, exposing motorists to danger. The Gawes municipality has most of its road infrastructure in a bad state.
Well, some good news for the residents of the Kojo community. Away from that, Onya TV and Onya FM and the Media General Group is demanding an immediate retraction of the letter written by the National Media Commission in which the station was alleged to have made broadcasts which raises concerns for the peace and security of the country. We'll bring you more on that later when we'll get that story, bring you that. But now, the chairman of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union, George Nyano, has called on government and related agencies to help curb carnages on the road. The union has also raised issues about the state of road infrastructure.
You can see the nature of the road right now. Honestly, my brother, it's a terrible issue. And as I've been saying all the time, the product that we carry is a hazardous product. Yeah, so when accident occurred, right, it brings a lot of challenges. And when you look at the square from Tor to Boom, a lot of depots, okay, fuel depots are around the area. So we faced this challenge from 2017, which we reported to His Excellency himself. He called the Road and Highway Minister, Honorable Amwakwata. Okay, we sat down in a meeting with him from 2017. We were told it has been awarded to a contractor, but up to now, we haven't seen a contractor on it. We can see from Honorable Road and Highway Minister that it's a deliberate thing that he don't want to attend to the tanker driver. He wants accident to happen and he will blame the tanker drivers. I'm surprised in Ghana here, every transporter pay road weight. Every transporter pay road weight. But look at the nature of the road. Not even Tema here alone. When you go to Kumase Depot, from Guinness Junction to the Boss Depot where we load, very terrible, horror. When you go to Takrade, the same thing. We complain severally.
Now imagine having to spend 4 cedis a day to get water to bath to attend class as a student. As Savannah Regional Correspondent Christopher Mako reports, the lack of water is a major concern to students and staff of Damango Senior High School.
Government recently cast salt for the construction of $49 million Damango water project to address the challenge. A visit to the Damango Senior High School saw several students struggling for water. Another student recounted how she escaped being gang raped when she went out to fetch water outside the school.
At times they will come and pick the cars to town and we'll pay once a car. It's difficult for us to get water. We'll be in a queue for a long time. By the time we'll come, we'll be late for preps, we'll not get time, and then we'll be tired. And it's costing us our studies. Our studies is very low.
This, the headmistress confirmed.
Because the places are open, the criminals pass through any corner to enter into the school to have access to even master's bungalows, not only the girls' dormitory. Master's bungalows and took away some valuable items. We advise the government to come to our aid to recruit more security personnel to support solve the security problem in the school.
At the 50th anniversary celebration of the school, MP for Damongo and Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Abu Jinapor said is working with relevant stakeholders to address the challenge.
To have a meeting with the management of Damongo Secondary School come this Monday to interrogate the interim immediate measures we can put in place to alleviate the suffering of the students of Damongo Secondary when it comes to water. I told him about mechanized borehole, and then he said that will not be the solution because the water table is not so good. We will find whatever solution they propose so that you students will have some alleviation of the problems you encounter when it comes to water.
Meanwhile, the 1998 and 1984 year groups of the school have commissioned a mechanized borehole for the school.
Now, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly has hit back at criticism that its award presentation to the Emir's overall best farmer, Mrs. Na Ajele Mensah, was disappointing. In a statement, the AMA's head of public affairs, Gilbert Ankra, says, quote, the AMA wishes to inform the general public that the facts of publications had been distorted and that she was adequately rewarded despite an erroneous impression created on social media that she was only giving a bicycle, unquote. The statement adds that the AMA's overall best farmer, Mrs. Na Ajele Mensah, received a Rambo 500 poly tank, knapsack, seeds, insecticides, fertilizers and cutlasses, whilst other awardees received deep freezers, Rambo 500 and 350 poly tanks, a laptop, water pump and cornmeal. Well, let's try and clarify this and speak with Gilbert Ankra. He's the head of public affairs at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. He joins us on phone for more on this. Gilbert, we're grateful for your time with us on Media Live. The Assembly has been receiving a lot of backlash on social media. Clarify the issue about the AMA's award presentation, please.
Good afternoon to your cherished listeners. Just as you have put it, the Assembly yesterday did not only present a bicycle to the best farmer within the metropolis, being Mrs. Na Ajele Mensah. The Assembly, in addition to the bicycle, presented a Rambo 500 poly tank, knapsack, seeds, insecticides, fertilizers, to the winner. In addition, don't forget, there were other categories, being best agro farmer, we also had best crop farmer, we had the best innovative farmer, and for all these categories, items they received also included deep freezers, mesh for fencing, some of them even received the poly tanks, they received seeds, insecticides, cutlasses, fertilizers. There was even a winner who received a laptop, a water pump, and then a cornmeal motor. So to create the impression that the winner was only presented with a a bicycle. For us as an assembly, we feel that is very, very unfortunate, and it is some ways by which some people would want to tarnish the image of the assembly and take the shine out of what happened. Because if you look at yesterday's event, it was very, very colorful. We even had reporters from your outfit there with us on the ground, so they could even attest to the fact that the winner did not receive only a bicycle.
Tell us, Gilbert, what goes into the selection process of presents to give to these award winners?
Thank you very much. If you look at, before I deal with what goes into the selection process, let me state that all the items that were presented were not just given out of the blue. It was after a series of engagement between these winners and our agric officers. Don't forget, we have these extension officers who move in to assist them in various forms. And there are times when we even take feedback with respect to their challenges and other items they feel when they get, it will help expand whatever activity they are embarking on. So it was as a result of some of these engagements that these items were decided on. With respect to the selection process, if you look at the city, we have, this is an urban city. So obviously, when it comes to issues of acres of land for farming, you would not find such type of farming within the city. When it comes to dealing with these other farming methods, with fishing, we know the coast is there. So let's deal with that others. If you look at the beneficiary, she was a backyard farmer at Kolebu. So we are looking at people who are trying to use the little space they have to do great things. And it is as a result of some of these criteria that we use in selecting the winners for the awards. Let me state that there is also a committee. So a committee sits and then analyzes all their strengths and then comes out with the exact persons for the award.
Right. Gilbert, before you take leave of us, do you by chance have an idea what the next year's winner is having as his or her award?
Of course not. We would have our extension officers, as I said, moving as the year begins to engage these farmers, get to know of their challenges. So in these engagements, they will be able to determine what support, if given to them, would help in expanding their business. Let me drift briefly. When it comes to persons with disability, it's the same way. We don't just give them items. This time around, we've given this from giving them physical cash. So we engage them to know the kind of challenges they face and then support them in that direction so they'll be able to expand whatever business that they are embarking on.
Okay. Again, briefly, sir. So Mrs. Ajele asks for the bicycle.
Let me state that she did not categorically ask that she'll be given a bicycle, but it is as a result of the engagement and challenges, and they are aware of all these items that were presented to them.
Okay. Gilbert, we'd like to thank you so much. Gilbert Ankra is the head of public affairs of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Now to some other stories where Onia TV and Onia FM under the Media General Group is demanding an immediate retraction of the letter written by the National Media Commission in which the station was alleged to have made broadcasts which raises concerns for peace and the security of the country.
Support a coup d'etat.
The letter addressed to the Executive Secretary of the National Media Commission, George Sapon, from the head of station of Onia TV and Onia FM is copied to the President of the Ghana Journalists Association, President of the Independent Broadcasters Association, and the President of the Private Newspapers Association. The letter responds to issues raised by the NMC over what the Commission calls unprofessional and insightful broadcast by Media General's Captain Smart. The response from Onua TV and Onua FM objected to the manner in which the NMC's letter sought to create an impression that the words used by God's Brain Smart calls for insurrection against the state. In the letter, it says the NMC was in a haste and or neglected to comply with its settlement procedures. The position of Onua TV and Onua FM is that the NMC could only have come to this conclusion because it did not have the full benefit of the alleged broadcast, as the said broadcast by Captain Smart was taken out of context. In the said broadcast, Captain Smart called on specific individuals to rise up and speak against the e-levy as contained in the 2022 budget statement. It continues to say that the opening paragraph of the NMC's letter stating broadly that, quote, part of your broadcast raises concern for peace and security in the country in a manner that demands immediate regulatory action, unquote, creates an impression that Onua FM and Onua TV have been broadcasting other material that offends regulation. It says it is therefore terribly surprised at this statement in view of the fact that you have never cited an example of such broadcast to us, and we find that most regrettable. It continues to say that it is unfortunate for the NMC to prejudge and conclude on such matter as contained in its letter without giving Captain Smart, Onua TV and Onua FM the opportunity to be heard. These are the demands from Onua TV and Onua FM. It is demanding that the NMC retract the letter in reference and that the NMC complies with procedures in Act 449 of 1993 in resolving such issues. The head of station of Onua TV and Onua FM, Bismarck Nana Apienti, assured the NMC of its highest regard for its functions as well as its resolve to uphold the highest professional standards as a media house.
I don't support a coup d'etat.
You're watching Midday Live. We're back with more stories after the break. Don't go away.
Aya woti ya wo be mem ana ya imo hyehyew wo sensu fitaa bi firi mu ba ugu nso ntentem ana ya wugu nso a na emu ache woti ya wo sabe wa ya ase esese wo bobrim se bi ana wo prostate na hu aba ha wo aya na wonsa na asa wo na ya ye titiri waposo tutu wo nante a na wa ye dududu aya se bibi ne na mo widie mu e bia na stroke yade na ebo wo kaye endpoint homeopathic clinic e wonimdi o de beboa wo Endpoint, our Accra, Spinters Road, Shell Signboard, Tema, Committee 22, Koanaso Hotel Echi, Kumasi Chronoma Buenya Angel School Complex, Sakra Day, Endpoint, our Anaji Queen of Peace, inside, Anaji Police Station Echi Pe, Techimine, Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, our Hensa, and Nick Jones Bro Filling Station, and a Dinshanimu. For Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, it was 0244-867-068.
Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Sometimes you just know that something ain't going good. You say to yourself, this ain't working for me. There be no shame in that, man.
Like when you don't got it?
Yeah, man, I mean, being smart means knowing when to stop. Know your limit.
So like knowing when to stop? Yeah, makes sense.
If it's not fun, choose to stop.
This advertisement is brought to you by Bet Power.
Imagine waking up at the break of dawn with nature's tide against you. Imagine your entire life being swept away by waves of the sea. Imagine your life wasting away, powerless at the strength of the storm. Imagine your shelter is devoured by nature's unrelenting force. Just imagine. Now this is the reality of the children, mothers and fathers of the people of Keta and its environs. Victims of the destructive tidal waves. Nature's wrath can be deadly, but humanity sustains life. Together, let's help weather the raging storm. helped save a life.
Music is that one thing that you didn't know you needed, but you have. Are you ready? Let go! Everybody put your hands in the air. The house party! Soothing music. Electrifying performances. Worthwhile interviews.
Sometimes we do songs in 3 months, 4 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
What? The best of the best. This year, where the party day today. Music. It's big.
Music shows every Saturday at 8 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
Aisha Ado, she started off as a business accountant, but she's also a mentor.
In my second year of studying accounting, I realized actually this is not what I want to be doing. So around 17 was when I actually started Power to Girls. We started with like 6 girls, literally 6 girls. One thing that was a constant was that like we all had very similar things that we were experiencing,
like
from how we felt about ourselves.
What helped you to keep them going?
Aside from faith.
The power of the name God.
My name is Princess Dorcas Adegoke. I'm the CEO of Healthy Haven and I'm an immigration officer as well. I remember when we started, we were doing about less than 50 bottles in a week, but now we do about 1,000 bottles a day.
Creating a space that allows for people to talk is so vital. Freely.
Yes.
Today's Woman shows Sundays at 3 p.m. and repeat Wednesdays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
Welcome back to the program, and this is the business segment of Midday Live. The Association of Ghana Industries has cautioned Ghana's industrialization agenda remains flawed if a free market regime is granted to importers to bring in cheaper goods to compete with local producers. CEO of the association, Seth Chumakwabwa, has impressed on government to leverage on gains made in the industrialization agenda for an improvement in the ease of doing businesses.
The private sector will carry out the bulk of this investment, and so a good business environment will be critical in what we do from today and the years ahead. Challenges such as high cost of electricity, the straight 6% levy, access to credit remain the major barriers of industrialization, which we are still working with the government to get this through. We therefore appreciate the government efforts towards establishment the new development bank to tackle the death of the long financing play that happens to deal with all our industries. Indeed, AGI has had a numerous discussion with the government on this, and we are very much convinced that the bank will serve the intended purpose. That means having access to long-term financing for our businesses.
Now, Traders Advocacy Group Ghana says government must clearly indicate the 32 selected items of which Ghanaian companies are producing and their production capacity. The goods per the 2022 budget have been removed from those under the 50% and 30% benchmark values.
At a media briefing in Accra, the General Secretary of Traders Advocacy Group Ghana, Nana Poku, noted that any policy by government to encourage Ghanaian traders into local manufacturing is welcomed.
We have no problem with the government initiatives on aiming to direct
our enterprising traders into the local manufacturers. However, government must clearly indicate these 32 selected items of which Ghanaian companies are producing, and the production capacity by these companies are crucial to the trader to make some basic analysis on availability of stocks, which informs the decision in comparing prices, quality standards.
Although TAG is of the view the e-levy is a smart way of widening the tax net, the group urged government to review downwards the 1.75% rate.
Government must realize that traders have come to accept the digital payment platform, especially the Momo platforms, for payment of wages, paying suppliers and their vendors. We entreat government to go back to the drawing board and think about the rate again, and heed to the advice and calls from Ghanaians, especially traders.
Now, President of the African Investment Group, Dr. Samuel Ankra, says the country needs a comprehensive tax policy and a modernized tax administration in order to rake in the needed domestic revenue for development. Speaking at the 2021 Annual Economics Conference in Accra, he noted the e-levy has a short-term benefit but dire consequences in the long term.
Ghana's tax system raises less than 50% of the total revenue due, thereby making it difficult to enact basic public administration and budget fiscal management. A significant number of informal sector workers in Ghana are trapped in poverty as they do not earn enough to live themselves and find their families out of poverty. And it never has been a good policy anywhere in the world for policymakers to enact laws to tax poor people unfairly. The new e-tax has short-term benefits. However, the medium to long term, it would have a dire consequence on the economy. Apart from erasing all the efforts and hard work to cultivate a financial inclusive economic ecosystem and help in reducing the informal sector, it would also destroy most economic gains. The key area to be affected is a foreign remittance from Ghanaians resident abroad, as is the third highest foreign exchange earner after cocoa and gold. Taxing inward remittance flows is a bad idea. A tax on remittance would drive these flows to unregulated informal channels and will be there before. This is likely to reduce the tax revenue, increase the cost of tax administration, and encourage informal channels of money inflows.
And that's it for the business segment. We have sport, entertainment, and international news right after this break.
On Mentorex, it's week 9 already. We're inching closer to discovering who will emerge winner of the incredible 10th season of TV3 Mentor. This Sunday, the remaining 9 contestants will be bringing you music of Ghanaian origin to entertain you and book their place in the next round. And of course, 2 contestants who fail to meet the grade will face the gruesome hands of elimination. Join us again this Sunday at 8 p.m. on TV3 as the journey to discovering the next global icon continues on Mentorex. TV3 Mentor takes you higher.
Mentorex is brought to you by Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil, and Napa Foods, Sense Body Spray, Club, Better Malt, Tom Vita, Close Up, Geisha, Drugnet,
Cowbell, our milk.
No simple kegwa na kwabe sekune bronya obala sibio eche pedama kada obaye do the d-ball ezibida oya do rough dama na action na baye sekune bronya connect fm bronya chaza yesro ma second deep 1 week ina yezes was display goes for one nzamba no sha brabo hwe wonyu ma sanza twase afim gutena aprofo na was a pay us a trade and exhibition a vital unit for business growth you do executive goes for the party there today Oye Sekuna Youth Center, Kundum Square, and now Confasson Quadwa. Oshas Sunday, 19 December. Zekes Sunday, 26 December. Oye Sekuna Bronya, Rebeshia Padisa, the Dofuna for Fufuni Genara, Mayanya Setans Kakra, a Pedemo Brudu Ruasa, Franya 0244 244 027, and 0545 572 856. Connect FM Sekuna Bronya, Genera Yaniso, Nafia, no, yes, Samara Mamma Porta, so, or yes, Samara Papa, total, so what on the year matching. Connect FM, yeah, one
All-White Party on the Lake. This Christmas, experience the 3FM All-White Party on the Lake. Yes, this time is the float edition with great experience whilst we cruise on the Dottie Princess and party hard happening on Boxing Day, 26th December, amidst super exciting activities such as beach soccer, live band, pool party, swimming, jet ski, bonfire, and drink ups. It's an all-night fun party from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Rate a cool 350 Ghana cedis for singles and 600 Ghana cedis for double. Man, that's so cool for so much fun. A little party never killed anyone. Join us in your all-white attire. Life is a party, dress like it. The all-white party is brought to you by 3FM, Volta Hotel, and Dottie World.
For reservation, please call 0546 063 747 or 0558 167 221. Sponsored by Johanni Auto Cooling Center.
All-white party on the lake.
Now, if you need more clarification on the matter and why FIFA ruled to dismiss the protest by the South African Football Association subject to an appeal, then the Ghana Football Association General Secretary Prosper Harrison Ado has spoke to us about this. He is the man who drafted the response by the GFA. Take a listen to him.
And confirm that FIFA has sentenced the decision, both the SAFA and the GFA. And the decision is very simple, that the protest is inadmissible. And so, per the rules, any of the parties can write to get the full details if we want to, which we intend to do on Monday. We just have to wait for the decision to come out. And as we pleaded with Ghanaians to be patient, and that we know the rules, we look at the rules, we've quoted the rules. Indeed, they did not quote any regulation. We quoted the regulation, both from the qualifying regulation to the FIFA 2022 World Cup, and then the FIFA disciplinary code. And so we were sure that what we were saying is supported by the regulations, and then we will win this protest. And as we said, they did not pay the process fee within the time limit. They did not file the protest the right way within the time limit. They did not bring any evidence. Rather, they chose to shout wolf and then to say that give us 72 hours, which is 3 days, to go and find the evidence. It's either you have evidence or you don't. If there is a cause to protest, then it means you have the cause already. You don't say that I'm protesting and then you say that 3 days time you bring the details. The rules are very clear. The rule says that within 24 hours you must bring your full details so that the other party would have benefit of it and to respond to it accordingly. We are grateful to all Ghanaians for the patience and for the trust they had in us, and for the fact that they remain calm in the face of all the things that were said about Ghana.
That's it for sports. Let's bring you a headline story. And more than 346,120 people are living with HIV in the country. This represents 2% of the population. Medical Director of the University of Ghana Medical Center blamed the rise on the neglect of other infections due to the outbreak of COVID-19.
According to the medical director of the University of Ghana Medical Center, Dr. Kwame Nenim Buama, records from the Ghana AIDS Commission indicates about 2% of the population are living with the virus, with half of them not aware of their status. At a program to screen and launch a clinic for people living with the virus, the medical director called on the general public to engage regularly in medical screening.
2020, because of COVID,
attention has been shifted away from HIV/AIDS, but we want everybody to know that it is still real. You're talking about 2% of the population. That works up to about 600,000 if we are 30 million, and that's not a small number.
Chief Executive Officer of the University of Ghana Medical Center, Dr. Darren said the hospital will welcome persons with the virus.
We use the opportunity to launch the clinic for HIV and then to inform the public that people infected or living with HIV can access care here, where they can be diagnosed, treated, and medicated as well. All the things that are supposed to be done for people living with AIDS.
HIV remains a major public health issue 40 years after the first case was detected. This year's World AIDS Day is under the theme End Inequalities, End AIDS, End Pandemic.
Let's bring you some entertainment news now. The Deputy PRO of the Ghana Prison Service, ASP Samuel Kofi Opoku, has revealed that embattled actress Rosamund Brown, known popularly as Akuapem Polo, was yet to start the 82 days jail sentence. Now, he also debunked assertions that celebrities and other top public officials are given preferential treatment when sentenced.
No. The moment the sentence is passed, what is the process like? Is Akuapem Polo with your department already?
Akuapem Polo, Rosamund Brown, as we speak, per the records that the prison service has, it's not in our custody. She was committed by the court, and I'm sure I want to be following her to the prison. But as we speak today, Saturday, Akuapem Polo is not in our custody, and I'm sure the necessary things will be done before she'll be handed over to the prison service.
When do you think these processes will be finalized before she comes to your custody?
If everything goes well, you don't mandate a working day. So let's say if I mandate Tuesday, Akuapem Polo should be done with the necessary documentation at the police side before she'll be handed over to the prison service. It's when you are brought to the prisons that we admit you and take your necessary details. But if you not be brought to the prisons, we cannot go to the police, or we cannot go to the CID, get you and bring you ourselves and cannot do the necessary documentation. So as we enter into a new week, I'm hopeful that by Monday, Tuesday, she would have satisfied all the requirements that she needs to do with the police service, and then she'll be handed over to the prison administration.
There are conversations that usually happen that suggest that when public figures come to a prison, there's some sort of preferential treatment they receive. Is that really the case, sir?
There's nothing like preferential treatment for any class of people in the prisons, whether in Ghana, whether Europe, or whether in part of Africa. The thing is, when you are committed by a court, be followed by a warrant, and when you get to the prison, you'll be admitted. Same way as, let's say, I'm not using cocaine name or anybody or any of your panel, but let's say if A is committed and brought to the prison, the same way A will be admitted, the same way B will be admitted, and then C. There's no preferential treatment for any celeb or for any public figure. Everybody goes through the same process and admitting, and the same process when you are done serving your sentence and you be released. There's no special cell, there's no special food, there's no special clothing, or there's no special way in admitting any prisoner. The law works, we respect the rule of law, we respect human rights. So everybody has equal rights in the prison. So no special treatment for any group of people.
That's it for entertainment news. Let's bring you a wrap-up of some foreign news. Gambians are casting their ballots to elect their next president in a highly anticipated vote seen as a test of the country's democratic transition. President Adama Barrow faces a record 5 other candidates as he seeks re-election in what is expected to be a close race. He is running on a continuity ticket, pointing to infrastructure projects completed under his watch as well as increased civil liberties. Political veteran Osaino Dabo is seen as the main opposition candidate. Saturday's vote is the first since long-time autocratic ruler Yahya Jammeh was forced into exile in January 2017 after Barrow defeated him at the ballot box. Hundreds of people queued up and waited for the polls to open. This is the first election in many years where a voter can go and cast their ballot without having to worry about being observed, intimidated, or arrested after voting. And that's it by way of Midday Live. This afternoon, we came to you from our new sub-studios here at Adisawe Kanda in Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 279 and all our social media platforms. TV3 Ghana. My name is Noble Crosby, and there's more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on behalf of the entire production team. Thank you so much for watching the program. Bye-bye.